HelloFresh takes the guesswork and the extra hassle out of planning and preparing delicious meals for dinner. America's #1 meal kit, HelloFresh gives you over 40 recipes to choose from each week. And then your farm-fresh, pre-portioned seasonal ingredients arrive at your doorstep with simple instructions to help you feel like the master chef of your kitchen. And did you know that HelloFresh is cheaper than grocery shopping and 25% less expensive than takeout? HelloFresh has been an awesome addition to our household's dinner routine. We all get involved and cook together, following the pictured step-by-step instructions. It's a fun quality time and the meals are delicious. Give it a try and see for yourself. Go to HelloFresh.com/50havingitall and use code 50havingitall for 50% off plus free shipping. Again, to get 50% off plus free shipping, go to HelloFresh.com/50havingitall and use code 50havingitall.
Hello, it is Ryan, and I was on a flight the other day playing one of my favorite social spin slot games on ChumbaCasino.com. I looked over at the person sitting next to me, and you know what they were doing? They were also playing Chumba Casino. Coincidence? I think not. Everybody's loving having fun with it. Chumba Casino is home to hundreds of casino-style games that you can play for free anytime, anywhere, even at 30,000 feet. So sign up now at ChumbaCasino.com to claim your free welcome bonus. That's ChumbaCasino.com and live the Chumba life.
No purchase necessary. VGW. Void where prohibited by law. See terms and conditions. 18+.
Welcome to the Having It All podcast, the show about what it takes to live an abundant, loving life. My name is Matthew Bivens, and each week I'm helping you get out of your head so that you can truly have it all. Let's do it. What's up? What's up? Welcome to the Having It All podcast. My name is Matthew Bivens, and I'm so thrilled to be hanging out with you today on this December 29th. This is the last episode of 2018, people. Isn't that amazing? Last episode of 2018. So I'm just super excited that you're here to hang out with me, to talk about what it looks like and feels like and tastes like and smells like to have it all. Because that's what we do on this program. Every single week we're talking about what it looks like to experience an abundant, loving life. That's what having it all is. That's our context. So I'm just grateful that you're here to hang out with me. I got a super cool episode today. You know, as we head into 2019, I know so many of you are setting goals, creating intentions, or at least you just have some sort of feeling about what kind of year you want 2019 to be. And I love that. I'm in such support of that. And I want to help you to make 2019 as incredible as it can be. And in order to do that, I am putting out there for everyone to take stock of 2018. This episode is all about doing a personal, internal audit of yourself, of your beingness, as we wrap up 2018 and go into 2019, so that you are very, very clear as to where you're at in a number of key areas of your life. Because once you know where you're at objectively, then you can start charting a course for where you want to be. So before you jump into 2019 with those goals and say, here's what I want to do, here's what I want to do, it's so important that you just reflect and pause and take stock. And so I'm going to talk about that in this episode, and I'm going to give you all a free resource that I created that is going to help you to take accurate stock of where you're at so that you can make 2019 the most kick-ass year possible. All right. Let's roll into magic first, because magic is what it's about. Creating and experiencing many magical moments. If this is your first time listening to the show, then you're like, what is magic? What's the dude talking about? Well, magic is your ability to influence self, others, and life in an empowering way. And you're doing it all the time. You are creating and experiencing magic every single day of your life. However, you may not be aware of it. So what we do right now in this portion of the podcast is we talk about magic. I share examples of my magic, and I give you an opportunity to reflect so that you can recognize just how powerful you are, so that you can recognize that you are a co-creator of your life's experience. Everything that's happening around you in your life, you have a hand in creating it. And once you're able to recognize that, then you can say to yourself, wow, you know what? If I'm not liking what I'm creating in life, Well, guess what? I have the ability to do something about it because I'm creating all of it, the stuff that I don't like and the stuff that I like. So my magic, this is kind of big, broad magic, because I'll be honest, 2018 has been incredibly magical for me. And that's what I wanted to share for today's magic portion. Just the entire year of 2018, there have been so many lessons that I've experienced. I've had growth and progress made, and just beautiful moments with family. Made a lot of deposits with family that, in 2017 we weren't at such a tight spot, but now 2018, things had progressed and moved, and that is magical. I've had a crazy amount of growth and just fun and just love and all of that great stuff in my relationship with Sarah. We've experienced some just incredible moments and periods of time in 2018, and I'm so excited to just roll that momentum with her into 2019. I've had so many moments that have helped me expand my understanding of self in 2018. When I've stepped into situations that scared me, where I was uncomfortable, where I really had only myself to rely on, and that helped me to understand myself in new ways. Because if you aren't pushing those boundaries, if you aren't willing to step into discomfort, you really can't understand yourself, right? Because how do you know how you're going to show up unless you're actually challenging, what feels comfortable for you? So I've had a lot of those opportunities in 2018, and that's been magic. I've expanded my business. My businesses, new business ventures. I've had some amazing downloads of creative ideas that I've ran with and put into place, and they've impacted my coaching. They've impacted this podcast. They've impacted the other shows that I host and produce. They've impacted everything. So 2018 has been just a really great year full of business lessons for me, and a lot of humility. I've had ebbs and flows in 2018 from financially, for example, with, the different ventures and things that are going on. Sometimes they've been hot, other times they've been cold. And so those ups and downs have really given me opportunity to see what comes up. During those down moments, what comes up? What self-talk comes up when you're having a low financial month? Right? What criticisms, what judgments to start running through your head? What tapes, what loops, what stories start running through your mind when things are down? I've had a number of those situations and those opportunities in 2018, and it's been very humbling. I've watched Maya just continue to blossom into this beautiful, loving, joyful, healthy, happy human. And my smile grows wider every single day from just experiencing her and who she is. And I'm so honored to be able to be in her presence. And it might sound weird saying that about, a 2-year-old, but this child just lights up the world, any room she steps into. And being her father has been one of the most amazing experiences. In 2018, I feel like she's really starting to step into who she is, and that's been completely magical. I've had some opportunities to experience transition, the passing of loved ones. And the magic in that has been, my grandmother. I was able to see her a month before she transitioned, and to talk to her the night before she transitioned, and just to shower her with love. And even though that was incredibly hard, it was amazingly beautiful. And my buddy Watson, that one still stings. I still feel it. I feel the lump in my throat right now, but I was able to be there with him and hold him as he transitioned. And, you can't really ask for more beautiful moments than that, no matter how hard they are. I wouldn't have traded that. I wouldn't have done it any other way. And so I got to experience, those beautiful souls move on to the next plane. And I don't know where they went. I don't know what the experience is like, but just being able to be there for it was totally magical. I got a chance to connect with friends. Just yesterday, I got to see a friend I hadn't seen in 4 years, and that is magic. Just really putting deposits into those relationships. I talked about it on an episode a couple of weeks ago, the 5 regrets of the dying, and one of them is losing connection with your friends. And so this year I was able to see a lot of my friends that, life takes you in different directions, but I was able to reconnect with them multiple times and make those deposits and keep those friendships going, and I'm just so grateful for that. I was able to connect with hundreds of you all, and that has been completely magical for me in 2018. From those who've reached out to me via email, and we've gotten into just amazing conversations, and you've shared your stories, and I've shared my experiences, and we've connected. And on Instagram, that has been so much fun for me this year, just really expanding how I use Instagram and just having that portal where you and I can have just awesome, raw, honest conversations. And I've connected with hundreds of you this year, and that has been totally magical. HelloFresh takes the guesswork and the extra hassle out of planning and preparing delicious meals for dinner. America's #1 meal kit, HelloFresh gives you over 40 recipes to choose from each week. And then your farm-fresh, pre-portioned seasonal ingredients arrive at your doorstep with simple instructions to help you feel like the master chef of your kitchen. And did you know that HelloFresh is cheaper than grocery shopping and 25% less expensive than takeout? HelloFresh has been an awesome addition to our household's dinner routine. We all get involved and cook together, following the pictured step-by-step instructions. It's a fun quality time, and the meals are delicious. Give it a try and see for yourself. Go to HelloFresh.com/50havingitall and use code 50havingitall for 50% off plus free shipping. Again, to get 50% off plus free shipping, go to HelloFresh.com/50havingitall and use code 50havingitall.
Hello, it is Ryan, and I was on a flight the other day playing one of my favorite social spin slot games on ChumbaCasino.com. I looked over at the person sitting next to me, and you know what they were doing? They were also playing Chumba Casino. Coincidence? I think not. Everybody's loving having fun with it. Chumba Casino is home to hundreds of casino-style games that you can play for free anytime, anywhere, even at 30,000 feet. So sign up now at ChumbaCasino.com to claim your free welcome bonus. That's ChumbaCasino.com and live the Chumba life.
No purchase necessary. VGW. Void where prohibited by law. See terms and conditions. 18+.
It's just been a year of magic, and I appreciate every single experience and lesson from 2018. I truly do. And I am incredibly excited to use those lessons to propel me into a fucking awesome 2019. That's what I'm playing for. So that's my magic. And I'm excited to go create even more. There's still a few more days in 2018, so I'm going to keep creating magic. And so now I want you to just pause. Take a moment, pause this episode, and just reflect on the magic that you've created in your life. Where have you influenced yourself? Where have you influenced another person? Or where have you influenced life itself in an empowering way? And just connect with that. Reflect on it. And recognize that you are powerful. That you are a co-creator of your life's experience. When you can do that, when you can really, really understand that, well, now you're winning. Now you're winning. You recognize that you have it all, and you're creating magical moments all the time. So do that right now. I highly encourage it. And we're going to flow into some listener love, because I just love recognizing you all, because this is the reason why I'm here on the mic talking and sharing. It's because you're on the other side listening, and not just listening, but you take these messages and these insights and these tools, and you go out and you apply them. And you live the message of this show, which is having it all, which is experiencing an abundant, loving life. And you all are activating that in your own lives. And that is the freaking coolest thing ever. So I want to actually shout out a few people today. I got 5 people I want to shout out. Normally it's 1 or 2, but today I want to shout out 5 of you all, because you all are freaking awesome. So these are all folks, you've all reached out to me on Instagram. So first of all, I want to shout out Jennifer. Jennifer, I appreciate you. Next is Miss Boss Lady. I want to give a shout out to Christian and to Tony and to Austin. You 5 are some freaking cool people. Let's just say that, right? You are some freaking cool people doing some big things. And you know what? I feel you. going through ups and downs and breakdowns and breakthroughs. And I just love the fact that whatever is hitting you, whatever is going on, you're approaching it with humility. You're doing your best to approach it with objectivity, just looking at things and saying, okay, it is what it is. Let's keep moving forward. And I just love that, messages from the show have really resonated with you, because that just means, actually, that to me just shows that we're all connected, right? When I can share some experience and you're like, man, are you in my head? How are you doing this? Right? It's just because all of us are connected. And even though we have different actual experiences, what's going on in between our ears, what's going on in our hearts is very much the same. So Jennifer, Ms. Boss Lady, Christian, Tony, Austin, thank you all so much for reaching out to me on Instagram, for sharing with me, for connecting with me, for opening up to me, for giving me feedback. I appreciate that so much. And if you want to connect with me the way that they did, you can hit me up on Instagram, Matthew_Bivens. I love talking on Instagram and connecting there. And I've got some cool plans for 2019 with ways I'm going to connect and do all sorts of fun things there. You can also hit me up on my email, mattcbivens@gmail.com. I'm still available via email. You just are in, when you shoot me an email, I get like 100 a day. So it just happens to be in a mix of everybody else's. While on Instagram, the only people who reach out to me are you all. So that's why I give out both. But connect. Let's make this a two-way conversation. Let's make this a thing where we can actually, put a vibe, put energy behind, the conversations that we have, behind these names. Because, yeah, anyway, this is me just rattling on. So connect with me. All right, before we jump into the episode, I want to make a request. I'm going to make a request of you all. I have a 3-question survey that I would love everyone to just take a couple of minutes. It only takes a few minutes, probably like 2, just to fill out this 3-question survey that's going to help me to create some really, really awesome stuff for you in 2019. And I'm going to be giving away some free stuff to 2 people who fill out this survey. Freebies. So you can go to MatthewBivens.com/survey. That's where you can fill it out. Again, it's just 3 questions long. It'll take you maybe 2 minutes. And I'm going to be giving away 2 things. So for the past several months, I have been working on what I am codenaming Abundant Loving Life University, all you. And these are resources and tools and lessons and courses where I'm teaching you how to have it all. I'm helping you. I'm giving you the how as to how to have it all, right? We talk on this show about the why. I share examples and stories and magic that covers the what. But now I'm really, really digging into the how so that you can go ahead and create your own abundant loving life. And you know how to do the things that I talk about, like getting clear on your values, like creating a personal mission statement, like creating and setting and holding boundaries in your life. All of that stuff has a how attached to it, right? Because you're thinking, okay, this stuff is great, but how do I actually do it? Well, that's what's going down in all you. And I'm going to be giving away 2 free access passes so that you can get all of that stuff for free to 2 people who 2 people who fill out the survey. So go to MatthewBivens.com/survey. And for everybody who fills it out, I'm going to randomly select 2 people. And I did say you're going to get 2 things. So the first thing you're going to get is free access to all you. The second thing you're going to get is a pack of affirmation bands. So I wear these little rubber silicone bracelets about every day, and they have different affirmations on them. And I've created some for you all. And I'm going to give away 2 packs. So for 2 people who fill out the survey, you're going to get access to all you, free access to all you, and you're going to get a pack of these affirmation bands. And all you have to do is fill out a 3-question survey that'll take you less than 2 minutes. So please go and do that. It's going to really help me to create some awesome content in the coming year, create some really new, amazing things for you all, and just get a little bit of feedback. That's how I keep this show relevant and moving in the direction that you all want it to go in. Again, that's at MatthewBivens.com/survey. All right. So let's get into our episode for today. What I was sharing with you about 15 minutes ago, I was talking about moving into 2019. All of us have either a very clear goal of what we want to create in 2019. maybe some sort of intention, how we want to show up in the year, or just a general feeling. 2018 was crummy and I want 2019 to be better, right? And those are great things. And actually in my next episode, I'm going to help you to create your word for 2019 so that you can set that powerful intention and you can use that word to show up powerfully each and every day. I'm going to do that in the next episode because in this episode, it's all about taking a look back. I want you to take a look back at 2018 and really get a clear picture of how you showed up. How did you show up in 2018? How did you impact key areas of your life? And it's so important to get a clear picture on that because if you don't know how you showed up or you don't know where you're at in certain areas, how are you going to make a plan to get to a different spot? Right? It's like if you want to chart a course to a destination, right, and you find some buried treasure, you got to know where you're starting out. If you don't know where you're starting out from, you can't chart an accurate course to get to where you want to go. So I know that you're in this space like chomping at the bit, ready to go, but now we need to do a little bit of self-reflection. So what I want you to do is go ahead and download this self-assessment for yourself so that you can follow along with me as I go through each of these 10 areas. If you are driving or you're at the gym or you're just not able to download it right now, that's totally cool. You can still listen, but whenever you do get to a space where you can download it, I highly, highly recommend that you turn this from simply a listening exercise to an application exercise where you actually go through and do this self-assessment. So in order to get it, you can go to MatthewBivens.com/tools and you will see a link there for the self-assessment. You can download it completely for free. Now, this tool is something that I give every single person who works with me. Before our very first call, I send them this self-assessment for them to fill out because it helps me get a great idea as to where they are currently at in their lives. Because then we can figure out the areas that we want to put some energy and attention into. So that's why this is such a powerful thing, and it's a perfect thing for you to take to assess yourself as you wrap up 2018. So again, go ahead and download it now, MatthewBivens.com/tools. You'll see a link there for the self-assessment. Download it, and that way you can follow along with me as I go ahead and dig into the 10 areas that I want you to reflect on. So the first area I want you to just give a little internal self-assessment is your social life. Your social life. So is your social life like? When you think about your ideal social life, where is it compared to where you're at right now, compared to what you're experiencing right now? I'm not talking about the number of friends. I'm not talking about the frequency of outings that you go on. It's all about the quality. Right? For folks who, if you consider yourself an extrovert, then maybe you do want to be in big crowds of people. Maybe you do want to have a lot of those engagements, a lot of activities with friends. If you consider yourself an introvert, you may not want that, but you still have a social aspect to you, and so it's still important for you to be putting energy and making deposits into that social tank. So, are you happy in your social life? Give yourself a score from 0 to 10. If you are, great. Reflect on why. What have you done in 2018 that has helped you to keep your score high in social life? Those are things you probably want to be continuing in 2019. If you aren't happy in your current social life, if you've given yourself a score anywhere between 0 to 4, that's definitely, if you're scoring between 0 and 4 in any of these areas, that's something you want to address immediately. If you're scoring between a 5 and maybe a 7, then that's okay. You're like, okay, cool. I want to put some intention in here, but you know what? It's not as urgent as some of the lower scores. And if you're an 8, 9, or 10, you're cruising and you're cool. So if you gave yourself a 0 to 4 in your social life, figure out why. Where's the gap? What does that gap mean to you? The gap between where you are in your social life and where you want to be. And write this stuff down. Write it down. That's the first area. The second area is support system. What is your support system like? When you're going through a challenge, who do you have to reach out to? When you need some advice, who do you have that you can call? When you need to borrow money, when you need somebody to take care of your kid because something came up, when your car breaks down and you need a person to help you jump it, who do you have around you? And here's the thing. You create your support system. If you've got a solid support system, awesome. You helped co-create that. If you don't have a big support system right now, recognize that you've co-created that as well. So this is where you have to really practice being objective. This isn't about feeling sorry for yourself. This isn't about pitying your situation. This is about just saying, hey, this is where it's at. So for your support system, give yourself a rating between 0 and 10. Are you happy with your current support system? If you are, why? What's gone into making your support system a solid thing in your life right now? You definitely want to continue making those deposits moving forward. If you aren't happy with your support system, if you've given yourself a 0 to 4, why is that? Is it because you don't feel like you have a support system? Maybe it's because you don't feel comfortable asking for help. Those are two different things. It's two very different things, not having those people around you to help you versus not feeling comfortable asking for help. So recognize where you're at if you've scored yourself low in support system. And what is the gap? What is the gap? What does your ideal support system look like? What does it feel like? Who are the people who are in it versus where you are right now? Write this down because this is going to help you in setting your intentions for 2019. Area number 3 is your family life. Your family life. So go ahead and score yourself between 0 and 10 in your family life. What is that like right now for you? When you reflect on your family life, what sort of feelings come up? What sort of emotions come up? Do you feel any anxiety? Do you feel any tension? Are there people in your family that you just don't think about and you just shove them down? Or when you think about your family, do happy emotions come up? Do you feel excited? Do you look forward to seeing them? Or are you somewhere in the middle? Score yourself 0 to 10. If you are happy in your family life, great. Why is that? What have you done over the last 12 months to create a happy family life experience? What deposits have you made regularly? Maybe think back to your weekly or monthly calendar. How have you prioritized family? That's definitely something you want to roll in 2019. If you've given yourself sort of that mid-level score, 5 to 7, then think, okay, how do you want to step up for your family and within your family? Or how do you want to shift your relationship? Because those are different things, right? You can get more into the doing. You can get more into being available, reaching out, making time for family, coordinating Sunday night dinners, right? You can do all those sorts of things. Or you can shift how you relate. If you've got family who's just in a space and you want them to change so badly, but they're not changing, guess what? You can shift how you relate to them. You can get into a place of unconditionally loving them. So reflect. What's family life for you like right now? Where is it at? What's the gap? What's the gap between where you're currently at with your family life and where you want to be? What makes up that gap? That's what you want to be reflecting on. That's what you want to be writing down. The 4th area is your work life. What's your work life like? Score yourself between a 0 and 10. Are you currently experiencing your ideal work situation, your ideal work life, your ideal career? If you are, awesome. What's going into making it so great? What are you doing to make your work situation one that you're going to give yourself an 8, 9, or 10 on your score? You want to keep those things moving forward. You want to constantly be thinking, okay, great. How can I keep this up or how can I keep pushing it forward? If not, if you've scored yourself low in your work life, why? What's going on? If you're unhappy, then what's happening? Is it something that you have control over? Or is it something that is outside of your circle of influence, but you're focusing on it? Remember, a few weeks ago, we talked about circle of influence and circle of concern. A lot of us, when it comes to work and when it comes to career, we hang out in our circle of concern. That includes all the things that we have zero control over, such as the quality of our boss or the quality of our managers. You can't control the quality of your management, But if you're worried about that, if you're focusing on that, if you're frustrated about that, then guess what? You're going to continue to feel like you have a poor work life. Rather than focusing in your circle of influence, those are the things that you do have control over. Those are the things that you can influence. So where's your work life right now? 0 to 10. What does the gap look like between where you currently are at with your work life and where you want to be? A lot of us are going to be making resolutions and making goals and plans in 2019 to change our work experience. It's a very, very common one. We want to move into a new job. We want to take an entrepreneurial leap. We want to get that promotion. We just want to experience work more powerfully.
Hello, it is Ryan, and I was on a flight the other day playing one of my favorite social spin slot games on ChumbaCasino.com. I looked over at the person sitting next to me, and you know what they were doing? They were also playing Chumba Casino. Coincidence? I think not. Everybody's loving having fun with it. Chumba Casino is home to hundreds of casino-style games that you can play for free anytime, anywhere, even at 30,000 feet. So sign up now at ChumbaCasino.com to claim your free welcome bonus. That's ChumbaCasino.com and live the Chumba life.
No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. See terms and conditions. 18+.
With Lucky Land Slots, you can get lucky just about anywhere.
Dearly beloved, we are gathered here today to... Has anyone seen the bride and groom?
Sorry, we're here. We were getting lucky in the limo and we lost track of time.
No, Lucky Land Casino, with cash prizes that add up quicker than a guest registry.
In that case, I pronounce you lucky.
Play for free at LuckyLandSlots.com. Daily bonuses are waiting. No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. 18+. Terms and conditions apply. See website for details.
Think back to the episode where I talk about the 5 regrets of the dying. Do you all remember the one that every single man had? It was, I wish I hadn't worked too much. So maybe your work life right now is you're scoring yourself low because that's all you feel like you do. You're only working. So identify that gap. What does the ideal work situation look like for you? It's very, very hard to be living into your ideal life if you haven't actually visualized what it looks like. So think about that for yourself. What does your ideal work life look like? And now what's that gap between where you are and where you want to be? That's how you form your plan to get there. You got to identify what the gap is. So go ahead and take a moment, score yourself, and write down those feelings about your work life. Next is one of my favorites, sex life. Where are you at right now in your sex life? What is that experience like for you? Not necessarily the individual bedroom experiences, but how do you experience yourself as that sexual person? How are you moving that sexual energy? Or do you have the intimate, physical, sexual relationships that you want? Score yourself between a 0 and a 10. This one is another one where you're really going to have to work on being objective because a lot of feelings are going to be injected into this one. Let's work on removing those feelings and simply giving ourselves the score. It's just an assessment, right? Let's just be objective right now. So where are you at? If you're happy with your sex life, cool. Why? What things are you doing? What maybe thoughts are you running? How are you showing up so that you're giving yourself a high score, 8, 9, and 10? Write those down so that you can make sure that you're continuing to do them, that you can make sure that you're continuing to prioritize the connecting, that physical intimacy. Whatever you're doing that's making it work in 2018, let's roll it in 2019 and let's turn it up. Because when that area of your life is humming and it truly is powerful and loving and healing and synergistic, it impacts every other area of your life. Absolutely does. If you're giving yourself a low score, a 0 to 4 in your sex life, why? What's happening? What's not happening? What's the gap? Let's write down what our ideal sex life looks like and feels like, and then let's identify where you are today. Because if there's a gap there, you want to be able to chart a course to cover it. And now this is also an area where I want to challenge you to move beyond the physical. I'm not talking about the equality. I'm not talking about, do the orgasms feel great? It's way beyond that. We're talking about intimacy. We're talking about connection. We're talking about expression. Are you feeling fully expressed as a person? Are you being your most authentic self when you are being your most vulnerable? Because for most of us, when we're in the bedroom, when we're connecting intimately, we are the most vulnerable. You can bring nothing to the table than yourself, and you bring all of yourself. And so all the stuff shows up. All of the great things and all the things that we're trying to stuff away, they all come out when we're in that supremely vulnerable state of connecting sexually with another person. So let's identify what's going on. Let's just look at it objectively. Score yourself from 0 to 10 in your sex life. Write down what's making it great. Write down what's making it a low score for you so that you can chart a course to create a different experience for yourself. Next up, I've got religion and spirituality. Where are you in your religion or in your spiritual practice, your spiritual walk? Score yourself from a 0 to 10. If you're happy here, why? What is making this score so high for you? Figure out what you're doing, what you're prioritizing, how you're showing up regularly in your religion or spirituality that is resulting in an 8, 9, or 10 score. Those are things you want to carry over. Can you increase it? Can you go from an 8 to a 9? If so, what would that take? How could you move from an 8 to a 9 or from a 9 to a 10? And if you're at a 10, how can you make it even more effortless? Maybe you're at a 10, but you feel like you're putting a lot of energy into it, and maybe it's not as sustainable as you want it to be. So you're effective, but how can you move now to a place of effortlessness? If you're scoring yourself low, 0 to 4 in religion or spirituality, why? What's happening there, or what's not happening? Maybe you had a spiritual practice and you no longer have been practicing it in 2018. Maybe it's gone away. Maybe you grew up within a certain religion, but you no longer really identify. It doesn't resonate with you, and you kind of are feeling lost. Recognize what the gap is, the gap between where you're at in your religion and spirituality and where you want to be. What does that ideal space and state look like? What does it feel like? Go ahead and score yourself there and write it down so that you can have an objective measure of where you're at so that you can chart a course to create something different. All right, we've got 3 more. The next one is a hot topic for everyone. It's something that almost all of us are thinking about regularly, and that's our finances. Where are you at financially? 0 to 10. Give yourself a score. Are you experiencing the financial situation, the financial life, that financial experience that you want? If you're happy here, why? What's gone into making this so great for you? What are your practices? Maybe you've been keeping to a budget. Maybe you've been like me and you've been doing Dave Ramsey and you've moved through the 7 baby steps. Awesome. Perhaps there's a baby step that you want to reach next in 2019. Maybe you're at number 3 and you want to move to number 4. What's going on with your financial life and your financial experience that is making your score high? If you're giving yourself a low score, why? Let's see if we can't move beyond simply not making enough money. Because people at all financial levels are experiencing abundance and are experiencing scarcity. So it's not always about how much money you're actually making. There's a relationship aspect to it as well. So what's going on? If you're giving yourself a 0 to a 4, what's going on financially? Maybe you feel like you don't have financial maturity. Maybe you feel like you aren't able to hold a budget, keep yourself to it. Maybe that's something you want to grow in 2019. So go ahead and score yourself from a 0 to 10 as it relates to your financial life. The second to last area is health. And this is one that a lot of people are going to put on their list of New Year's resolutions. I think most folks who make some sort of commitment to New Year's resolutions have a health goal in mind, whether it's to lose weight, whether it's to be able to achieve some sort of goal or milestone or whatever it is. Health tends to be in there. So go ahead and score yourself from a 0 to 10 in your current state of health. And right now we're talking physical health, right? So your body, your physical well-being, your fitness. I want you to think, where are you at? Where are you at between 0 and 10? If you're happy with your health right now, if you're happy with your physical health and your fitness, awesome. Why? What have you been doing? What sort of routine have you been keeping up? What's been working with your routine? What would you like to tweak? What would you like to add? Or perhaps you're at a space where you want to take some things away. Sometimes we're doing too much in this area. Sometimes, if you're hitting the gym for multiple hours every single day of the week. Maybe you want to put some time in there that's just simply downtime, rest time, recovery time. So you got to factor that in as well. Now, if you're scoring between a 0 and a 4 in this area, then why is there a gap? Why is there a gap between where you're at right now in your health and where you want to be? I want you to really think about this one. Remember, be objective. We're not worried about good or bad, right or wrong. I should have been doing this. I'm really bad with my eating. I'm so terrible with going for a run. No. Drop all that judgment crap. Does not serve you right now. Let's just purely get objective, because that's how you're going to be able to chart the course to where you want to be. So think about your health. Think about your level of fitness. Think about your physical body. Think about your energy level, right? Where is it at? And give yourself that honest score, and then write down on the assessment where you'd like to be. All right. The last area is self-care. Now, this is different than, say, health and some of the other ones, right? Self-care is all the little things that you're doing to take care of and to love on yourself. It involves loving on yourself physically, taking care of your physical health, but also think about mental. Also think about, the little things that you do for yourself, taking yourself out on a date, being kind to yourself, your internal self-talk, all little things that you're doing like to have some sort of self-care regimen, some sort of self-care routine. Score yourself between 0 and 10. If you're happy with your self-care, then great. What's working for you? What are those things that you want to carry over into 2019? What are those things that maybe you want to do more of, right? Pick the things that are working really well. Maybe you want to start doing more of them. If you're giving yourself a 0 to 4, why is that? What's going on in the gap? When you really sit down and think, okay, if I had all the resources and time in the world, this is what my self-care regimen would look like. What is the difference between that vision and where you are today? Because here's the thing. I guarantee you there's somebody who's juggling more responsibilities, who has less time, less available free time in the day, perhaps, less financial resources, but is making their own personal self-care regimen work. So if you're telling yourself, I don't have the money to do what I want to do, I don't have the time, that's just the BS excuses that you are setting up in front of yourself as obstacles. Because for some reason, something's going on within you and you really don't want to prioritize. Maybe you don't think you're valuable enough or worth it to really prioritize caring for yourself. So let's just look at that objectively. Let's just see it for what it is. So go ahead and give yourself a score. Write down whether you're happy in this area, or if you're not happy in that area, write down where you would like to be. And when you're complete with that, then you're totally done with the 10 areas. Now, you'll see at the very bottom of your assessment that you do have a chance to write down some of your goals. And this is where you can start fleshing out some of the things based on the areas that what you've scored yourself in, some of your goals for the new year. So I recommend going back, looking at your areas, and anything that has a 0 to 4, I totally recommend that you set some sort of intention on putting energy into that area. So if you had a 0 to 4 in your sex life or in your finances or in your health, whatever it is, create some sort of goal around putting energy and shifting that number. If you're at a 1, how can you get to a 2? If you're at a 4, how can you get to a 5? Right? I'm not interested. We're not interested in going from a 1 to an 8. That's going to seem like an impossible jump. That's totally cool to play for that in the future, but I want you to set yourself up for some wins. So when you're setting your goals, when you're writing down your goals at the end of the assessment, think about how you can go just 1 to 2 points up in that particular area. And definitely set some sort of intention around moving those areas that you've scored a 0 to 4. So this is going to be a confronting exercise for some of you. You may have felt confronted as you listened to this and thought about it, or as you were going through and scoring for yourself. And that's a great thing. I think it's awesome if you're feeling confronted, because now you have an opportunity. You have an opportunity to step into that and to say, you know what, this area I've been neglecting for too long, and now I'm going to put some energy into it. Or you have an opportunity to let that feeling of confrontation just keep you off on the sidelines, keep you to not addressing those areas. And none of us want to let another year go by keeping those areas that are at 0s to 4s down in that score of 0 to 4. It sucks, right? I'm sure there's some areas, if you did score yourself in that, you look back and you're like, man, I had intentions back in January to do something about this, and I really didn't put in the energy that I needed to. I let this get in the way. I let that get in the way. I let myself get distracted. I let myself choose something that was easier. So I don't want you to be in this space 1 year from now, looking back and thinking, man, I really should have put some more energy into blank area. So if you're feeling confronted, great. Step into it. Lean into it. Having it all, in many, many cases, is about stepping into those fears. It's about creating opportunities for you to be uncomfortable and actually walking into it, because that's where the growth happens. That's where the healing happens. And I know in 2019, you want it to be the best year that you've ever had. I know that you want it to just look back on 2019 and just have a huge smile on your face because you are so inspired by how you showed up. When you think about it, you're like, my gosh, I showed up for myself. I made huge shifts in my life in areas that mattered most to me. I applied myself. I stuck with my commitments. I made an agreement to do this for myself, and I did it. There is no greater feeling than showing up powerfully for yourself. There is no greater feeling than doing that. So use this self-assessment as a way for you to construct some powerful goals moving into 2019. So if you haven't taken it yet, if you've just been listening, then again, go to MatthewBivens.com/tools, TOOLS, and you'll see a link there where you can download the self-assessment totally for free. And it's going to walk you through everything I just talked about, going through those 10 areas in your life where you're going to score yourself. Going to have a spot at the bottom for you to list out your goals. And I'll even throw in a couple of other questions that are going to help you thinking about really what is your ideal state. What does it look like? What does it feel like? What are those challenges that you've set up in your path right now that are preventing you from getting there? Because I want 2019 to be just a freaking rockin' year for you. Because that's what I'm playing for personally. And it excites me so much knowing that's how badass 2019 is going to be. And I want every single one of you to come along for the ride with me. So I want you to be there experiencing your greatest self, experiencing your greatest life, sitting there, and we can meet face to face, and I can ask you, do you have it all? And you can smile with such peace and contentment in your heart and say, yes, I truly do have it all. That is going to be such an amazing thing. So take the assessment, set yourself up for wins in 2019, and I'll see you in the next episode where we actually sit down and we set our word for 2019. So between now and then, be thinking, what word do I want to hold in my heart, in my spirit, in my beingness that's going to help me have the year that I truly want to have? That's going to be next time. Last episode of 2018. This is cool. It's been super amazing, and I just want to say thank you again to every single one of you for tuning in, whether it's your first time or you've been here multiple times. I'm just so grateful to you for everything, for giving me your ear, for giving me some time, for reaching out to me, for connecting with me, for just taking the mission of this show, of having it all and just being like, you know what, you can have it all. And I'm going to be living proof of that. And I'm so inspired by you for that. So thank you for making 2018 amazing. 2019 is going to be freaking through the roof. This whole entire community is going to be uplifted and shifted in beautiful, amazing, powerful, loving, incredible ways. I am so excited, and I will see you all next year. My name is Matthew Bivens, and here is to you having it all. Quick note about the Having It All podcast. I am not a doctor nor a licensed therapist. I'm a guy with a story and a passion for conscious conversation. My thoughts, opinions, and beliefs are my own. So please consult with your doctor or healthcare provider regarding any questions or issues you have related to your personal physical or mental health.
With the Lucky Land Slots, you can get lucky just about anywhere.
This is your captain speaking. We've got clear runway and the weather's fine, but we're just going to circle up here a while and get lucky. No, nothing like that. It's just these cash prizes add up quick. So I suggest you sit back, keep your tray table upright, and start getting lucky.
Play for free at LuckyLandSlots.com. Are you feeling lucky? No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. 18+ terms and conditions apply. See website for details.